It's time for Dr. Laura. I swear she's not gonna bore ya. For sexy advice, you don't have to think twice. Just say you're asking for a friend.
So in honor of Mother's Day, I wanted to share some thoughts with you about bringing a child into your family. So for couples who can naturally reproduce, this just isn't something that they spend a lot of time thinking about. The reality is, even for couples who can create life just by being together in the ways that they are intimate, there are often more obstacles than they might have predicted. This means that everyone can use this information. Whether having children is something that you have on your radar for the near future or the far future, it's something to be considering. So to get started, we want to talk about the option of creating a life with both members of a couple's genetics, right? So if you want a child that is made from one of you or both of you genetically, then you have a couple of options. If one of your partners has a uterus and can produce eggs naturally, then a great option is insemination. This means purchasing sperm. Now, this is a little tricky, and for some people, they will use a physician who can monitor their ovulation or when the egg is going to be ready and available to meet with the sperm. But for other people, they do it simply at home. A great invention is the Seminette dildo. That is a dildo that allows the sperm to remain sterile and to be ejaculated through the dildo using a strap-on with the other partner into the partner who wants to get pregnant. This makes for a very natural and intimate feeling to the procreation experience. Now, if that is not an option, IVF is another. That means taking an egg from somebody, taking a sperm from somebody, and then allowing it to fertilize separately in a lab. And then that fertilized egg would be inserted inside the partner who is going to carry the child's uterus. Now, this is expensive and it works, but only some of the time. Each cycle of IVF costs around $10,000. If neither of the partners can or wants to be the carrier for the pregnancy, so maybe they don't have a uterus or they just don't want to have that process, then they can hire a surrogate, which is someone who's essentially renting out their uterus to them. They're going to allow them to put their fertilized egg inside of them. Now that altogether costs around $100,000 or more. Some cases it might be slightly less, but that is the average price. To purchase the sperm itself is around $300,000 to $4,000. The last option I'm going to talk about today is one that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is adoption. So for a lot of queer couples, adoption is an amazing option, and it's something that I think not enough people really consider as viable. One of the common things that I hear about adoption is that it's too expensive. I can't afford it. It would be way out of my budget. I know friends who spend so much money adopting. So part of that's true and part of that is not true. Let's break that down. So international adoption is around $20,000 to $40,000. And that also gets very complicated because you're dealing now with international law. And so that's where a lot of costs are incurred. Nationally, people will say, well, it's still very expensive. Nationally, costs for adoption can range from $10,000 to $50,000. What that's referring to is infant adoption. A lot of people have that as a preference. However, adopting from foster care, where often children are a bit older, but not necessarily much older, and where they have had to be removed from a home or have lost family members and don't have a home to belong to, the cost is $0 up to $2,000, $3,000. Even where there are costs with fostering to adoption, a lot of times they're reimbursed later on. The best part about this is that you get to meet a child when they can decide that they're the right fit for you. Another wonderful thing about this is the fact that you can adopt children that are older that are in their teens who don't need diaper changes or to be spoon fed and can help you with getting things done around the house and being part of family celebrations. And you might think that you've already missed so much time with them, but you have the rest of their lives. Now, it is important that when you're pursuing adoption, you really have an adoptive heart, that you wouldn't see this child as different than a biological child, and that you will respect their unique story and the family of origin that they're coming from. That is very important as well. All of these options are wonderful, and ultimately there's no right or wrong choice. I know that being a mother for myself has been one of the most profound and rewarding experiences of my life, and I hope someday to adopt children and increase my family size. But until then, I hope that you consider these things. Even if you're single, you can certainly adopt or you have in vitro for yourself or insemination as a single person. And if you're in a couple, think about these different options. But above all, love your children. No matter who they are, where they are on life's journey, what their identity is, they will bless you for the rest of your life.
Like this video? Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Yeah, that one there. To get more Asking for a Friend each and every month. Email your queer sex questions anonymously to info@spectrumsouth.com. And don't worry, we know. You're just asking for a friend. Cheers, queers.